Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Henry Cavill's Superman trended on September 6, 2020. And it just goes to show that there is a ton of people really want Henry Cavill to be back as Superman. Yes, I know. He is back as Superman in Zack Snyder's Justice League that is coming out on HBO Max in 2021. But we're actually wanting more of him. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people, including myself, want an actual Man of Steel sequel. But wait a minute, didn't Zack say that the Man of Steel sequel essentially is Batman v Superman, and then an entire 5-part arc that includes Man of Steel, BVS, and JL 1, 2, and 3 is essentially a 5-part Superman arc? Yes, of course it is. That is definitely true. But what I'm trying to say is that, well, what about other Superman films? How about a Superman solo sequel in which it's kind of like essentially like Wonder Woman having her own solo film, Aquaman having his own solo film, and the upcoming The Flash will probably be her own solo film as well. Although there are rumored to have other Justice League members show up. But what we're trying to talk about is essentially a solo Superman sequel with mainly Henry Cavill as the main protagonist and pretty much like, I don't know, 90 something percent of the film. That would be awesome. Now, there are different ways we could probably have a Superman sequel. We could call it Man of Tomorrow. We could call it Superman. We could call it Man of Steel 2. We could call it The Superman. Essentially, you could probably have Brainiac in it, Supergirl in it, Metallo, Parasite, whatever. But that's not the goal of this video today. The goal of this video is to show you that there are several ways to input a Superman solo film within the timeline of Zack Snyder's Justice League, outside the timeline of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and maybe even alternate histories. This is how I see where we can possibly put in a Superman solo film. Now, let's explore an alternate history altogether. What I mean is that, let's say BVS, Batman v Superman, and the Justice League sequels never happened, or don't even actually involved in the Superman solo film. But Chris, isn't that wrong? Shouldn't we include Zack Snyder's timeline? Not necessarily. I think that Zack Snyder himself is okay with this. He calls this the multiverse, just like Jim Lee calls DC now the multiverse. And not to mention, Henry Cavill himself has expressed that he would rather have Man of Steel be the jumping off point to an actual sequel. In an interview with Real Blend, Henry Cavill expressed his idea of a Superman sequel jumping off from Man of Steel. I would rather talk about what is going to happen in the future of Superman, how I can express that character from the comic books, which ties in nicely to Man of Steel. Man of Steel, I really like that movie, and I'd like to be able to tell the story where it was left at that point. While also talking to Entertainment Tonight Online, Henry Cavill also said this: I'd like to delve more into the aspect of Superman that we traditionally know, coupled with where we left him with Man of Steel. It's the hero who is trying to exist in a world where people may say he's not relevant anymore, where actually he's extraordinarily relevant, and it's him coming to terms with that and becoming that relevance and showing people that hope does exist without it being too chocolate box. I wanted to still have an edge, but to have some warmth to it and to have some hope to it. So there could be ways to tell the sequel story, one more difficult than the other. How is this Man of Steel sequel supposed to jump off of just Man of Steel? Well, I think he also talked to this to a director that he's worked with on Mission Impossible Fallout, Christopher McQuarrie. Christopher McQuarrie revealed that he wrote a Green Lantern story and also pitched a Superman with Henry Cavill, but it never actually came to be. He said this: "It's too complicated to explain. Green Lantern tied into the Superman movie that Cavill and I were proposing, but there were no takers at Warner Brothers. The studios have never cared for my original ideas. They prefer that I fix their broken ones." So it is possible that he actually wrote a story with possibly Tom Cruise as Green Lantern and Henry Cavill reprising his role as Superman. He called this an original idea, meaning that if Henry Cavill truly wanted this sequel to jump off of Man of Steel, it would have been an original idea that did not include Zack Snyder's universe. Another way it could actually jump off of Man of Steel would actually be right into the Shazam universe. As you do see in Shazam, you do see an Easter egg of a Time magazine shows you that this is actually coming off of Man of Steel. We also know that the Garcias represent The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and Henry Cavill. And Dwayne Johnson has expressed that he truly wants his Black Adam, to fight against Henry Cavill's Superman one day, as shown in this awesome concept art by Boss Logic. But we have to go back to Shazam once again. Yes, we do see a headless version of him at the end with a little bit of different details on his suit. But there's also a newspaper clip in there that says Superman is back. Where is he back from? Well, he must have been back from the dead, which he does sacrifice himself against Doomsday in Batman v Superman. So wait a minute. So that means Batman v Superman and Man of Steel is within the canon of Shazam. But how does he come back? Well, that means he has to have come back in Justice League. Now, before Zack Snyder's Justice League was announced, we did actually, in fact, have a Justice League that was shown theatrically. Yes, we don't want to talk about it. It's that god-awful, rotten family member that we don't want to bring up or invite to our Thanksgiving dinner. But that's okay. It did happen, though. It did happen. And Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out on HBO Max in 2021. So, Zack Snyder did say this about his own very own Justice League, and that, maybe Justice League is kind of canon somewhere. Zack Snyder referred to his Justice League as an Elseworld to Sean O'Connell from Cinema Blend and author of the release of the Snyder Cut book. Also in an interview with Grace Randolph from Beyond the Trailer, Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, aka the Snyder Cut, will be its own thing and not be part of the current DC continuity. The director had this to say: "Frankly, the DC cinematic universe has branched like a tree and blossomed and grown in amazing and great ways. But for me, where my Zack Snyder's Justice League falls, I believe that it really sort of represents its own path. It's kind of separate now from the DC cinematic universe continuity, and I think that's a good thing. The power of DC and one of its cool strengths in its multiverse concept, and where they put filmmakers first and go, hey, we want to hear your individual voices. Take these characters and do a run and show us what you would do with a run in the sense of traditional comic book writing." So I think that it is a cool and amazing canvas. For me, I think Justice League, I've heard someone say, oh, you're entering the Snyderverse now. And frankly, this notion that what you will see in Justice League, Batman v Superman, and in Man of Steel, there's continuity across those three movies because I made them. That's my main focus, is to satisfy that narrative structure and continue that story. So if we were to jump off the Josstice League movie, essentially Joss Whedon's own Justice League from the theatrical, then it makes sense because Superman rips open his shirt. You see the blue suit with the red symbol, and he's off to go and save the day. Now, there are rumors that say that scene, even though Zack Snyder shot it, he shot it for the studio that wanted him to do a hopeful and optimistic Superman at this stage in Justice League. So if that's the case, then we could definitely put a Superman solo sequel film right after Justice League. And in fact, that would stay in continuity with the Shazamverse, which shows a newspaper clip that Superman is back with the blue suit and red symbol. What if we were to fit it into Zack Snyder's timeline, though? How would that work? Well, get this. The timeline between Man of Steel and Batman v Superman is exactly 18 months. So is it possible that we could probably fit a Superman solo sequel film from Man of Steel and Batman v Superman? Well, Zack Snyder said that Batman v Superman is essentially Superman 2. Man of Steel 2. So that wouldn't make sense. But if they were going to do something like, I don't know, like a Wonder Woman 1984, where it's a prequel film to Batman v Superman, but it's still a sequel to Wonder Woman, maybe we can have a Man of Steel like 1.5, or essentially a sequel to Man of Steel within that 18 months. I think it would have to be a smaller story though, and it would probably won't make too much sense. It won't be a big blockbuster film if we're getting from Kryptonians destroying the city to a smaller battle and then going to Doomsday. But we're seeing the smaller battle after Doomsday and Justice League with Steppenwolf. I think maybe we should put it somewhere else. Apparently, in a leaked Nightmare storyboard, there's supposed to be a time jump after Justice League, the first Justice League, and it shows you part 2 or part 3. What it is, it says 5 years later, the Nightmare vision does happen. You see Nightmare Batman, Flash, and Cyborg escaping something and trying to get into shelter before nightfall. Where at that time, it is said to believe that Superman has already gone evil in his blue suit and red symbol, flying around destroying cities. So within that 5 years from Justice League 1 to Justice League 2 or 3, depending on where the Nightmare future is at, there is a lot of time to create another giant story within those 5 years. Possibly one with Brainiac, Supergirl, Metallo. I don't know, because we don't really know what other characters occupy JL 2 and 3. Who knows? Supergirl and Brainiac could already be there. And who else is in there? I have no idea. So it's still possible to fit a Superman solo sequel within those 5 years. But then again, there is that notion that Zack Snyder's Justice League and Man of Steel and BVS, all part of that 5-part Superman arc, doesn't have any more Superman within it, right? I mean, we could still do spin-offs, but let's look at it this way. What if we still had that 5-part Superman arc? Then is there another Superman film that's readily available after the arc? Back in 2019, Zack Snyder had put out a shirt called All the Gods. It's for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention donation charity, and it actually showed a pretty good view of what his JL arc would have looked like, including one towards the end, all the way at the bottom of the shirt, a baby. Now, Eric Blake, a fan of the Snyder Cut fandom, had put this out to say, in which something Zack Snyder seems to confirm that is really true. Eric Blake said this: Lois conceives at the farmhouse, where she and Clark catch up on lost time after his resurrection, and she's pregnant throughout JL2. And Batman saves her by trading gunfire with Darkseid, sacrificing himself to save the world. And she gives birth at the very end, and Lois and Clark name their baby son Bruce, in which Zack Snyder applauded. A fan artist also put out a depiction of what he thought would have been at the end of Justice League 3, in which all the heroes are surrounding Superman and Lois, and they're holding a baby, in which it would be named Bruce. Zack Snyder commented and says, "That's scary close." So in the original idea of Justice League 1, 2, and 3, if Zack Snyder is even pursuing that at this time, and if he is, then it may be true, unless he changes it, of course, that Superman and Lois does have a kid, just like a little bit like the CW series that's coming out, even though those have 2 sons and this one only has 1 son named Bruce. Maybe, just maybe, that we could possibly have a Superman solo sequel film after Justice League 1, 2, or 3, depending if Zack Snyder continues that storyline or not. But in any case, there is many ways to actually input a Superman solo sequel film. But like I said, this is also the multiverse as well. They could literally just make any Superman movie with Henry Cavill and none the wiser. We would just have to know that after the Flash movie, the Flash would explode a huge multiverse, many universes of different Supermans and different Superman timelines and storylines that could probably take place within DC context. And if that's the case, then it really doesn't matter. But at least showing you this, there are many ways to make it work within some type of canon. In summary, there are many ways to make a Superman solo sequel film work. And I don't know what's taking so long for Warner Brothers or Warner Media or any of those studios to figure out an actual Superman film. I've just shown you several ways they could put it within the canon or within out of the canon and just make a Superman film with Henry Cavill as our Man of Steel. All right, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.